Hi class, this is fourth week and you will study Sutra studies, and then in the continuation in Sutta Pitaka, Sutta Pitaka, Majjhima Nikaya, Digha Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, and Samyutta Nikaya, and then today you will study Anguttara Nikaya. This collection of discourses, Anguttara Nikaya, contains 9,557 short sutra, and Anguttara Nikaya is divided into 11 divisions known as Nipata. Each Nipata is divided into groups called Bhagas, which usually contain several sutras. The discourses are arranged in progressive numerical order. In other words, each Nipata begins with one item of the Dhamma and adds up the item of Dhamma by unit of one until there are 11 items of Dhamma in each sutra of the last Nipata. So the name Anguttara means increasing by one item. For example, the first Nipata, Attaka Nipata, provides single items of Dhamma in each sutra called the Ones, the Book of the Ones. The second Nipata, Duka Nipata, contains two items of Dhamma in each sutra called the Book of the Twos. And so forth, the Book of the Threes, the Book of the Fours, something like that. The last sutra is called Ekadasaka Nipata. Is made up of sutra with 11 items of Dhamma in each, which is called Book of the 11th. So Nipata is named by after numerical basis. When the Buddha alive, by then, writing and recording was not available. So you cannot make a copy of Buddha's discourse. You cannot write Buddha's discourse either. Only rely on memorization and preservation of the Buddha's teaching was available. This requires the numbering system to facilitate organization of the themes into a numerical list. Okay, so numerical system facilitate to memorization of the Buddha's theme and idea by counting the numerical list. Constantly, but this Anguttara Nikaya, one of disadvantages is the themes and topics are constantly shifting. Okay, so constantly shifting successions of topics and ideas without allowing preconception to determine what will come next. In other words, the sutra of Anguttara Nikaya constantly shift from one topic to another, and those topics do not connect them each other because they primarily concentrate on the numbering. Therefore, the contents inside the same Nipata might not talk each other in terms of idea and topics. Anguttara Nikaya constitutes an important source book on Buddhist psychology and ethics because it provides an enumerated summary of all the essential features concerning the theory and practice of Dharma. So Anguttara Nikaya really emphasized the practical aspect So the book written by Bhikkhu Bodhi addressed that the Anguttara Nikaya focus on aspects of a practical training, thereby helping us understand the Buddhist training from new angle. The subjects range from the basic ethical observance recommended to the busy layperson through the pillar of mind training to the highest meditative state, the samadhi or concentration of the arahant. Okay. So the audience really include broad range of audience, okay, lay person and even including monastic. Okay. The broader category of the three jewels, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, and cosmological background to the Buddhist liberation project, and the problematic nature of human experience, the determinant of human destiny. These topics are covered by Anguttara Nikaya. So last week, when you studied Samyutta Nikaya focused on the main philosophical themes of the teaching, such as dependent origination, 5 khandhas, 6 sense bases, and templates of contemplation and insight meditation. On the contrary, the Anguttara Nikaya abounds in different ways of classifying people, both monastic and lay people, noble ones and ordinary people, and Anguttara Nikaya gives primacy to their qualities, their struggles for happiness and meaning, their aspiration and attainment. Therefore, the Anguttara Nikaya became the inspiration and a major source for one of the books of the Abhidhamma Pitaka, which you will study maybe a couple of weeks later. Abhidhamma Pitaka explore phenomenological reduction in order to survey types of person as they relate to the values and goals of the Dhamma. So Abhidhamma Pitaka is a more sophisticated approach by reducing phenomenology in order to figure out types of a person. So the precursor of Abhidhamma is the Anguttara Nikaya. So from now on, we will read some sutra from each Nipata and figure out the significance of Buddhist psychology and ethics. The Book of the Ones, Ekata Nipata, contains single item of Dhamma, and most sutra were given by the Buddha. But some of the sutra were given by the Venerable Sariputta or Venerable Ananda. Excuse me. If you look at Bhaga 6 in Sutra Code 53, and there is a Buddha's saying appears, Bhikkhus, if for lost time of a finger snap, a Bhikkhu pursues a mind of loving kindness, he is called a Bhikkhu who is not devoid of jhana, who acts upon the teaching of the teacher, who responds to his advice, and who does not eat the country's alms food in vain. How much more than those who cultivate it? So this sutra says, if a Bhikkhu practices the meditation of loving kindness and develops it even for the short duration of a finger snap like this, he is regarded as following the advice of the Buddha, acting according to his instructions. Such a bhikkhu deserves to eat the alms food offered by the people. So now you hit the word meditation of loving kindness, and then you will learn loving kindness meditation a little bit later. In another sutra, the Vaga numbers 15, impossible, and code number is 268. And the Buddha says, once accomplished in view is a noble disciple, a stream enterer, possessing the view of the path. The worldling, in contrast, can consider the conditioned phenomena of the three planes. Three planes means the sensory plane, the form plane, and formless plane, as permanent by way of eternalist view. This means it is impossible for a person possessed of a right view, such as a Sotapanna, to regard any conditioned formation as permanent, happiness, and self. It is possible only for an uninstructed person to regard anything as permanent, happiness, and self. So, stream enterer, in Pali word, Sotapanna. This stream enterer regard any conditioned formation as impermanent. But ordinary people, uninstructed person, will regard anything as a permanent, happiness, and self. Now, you have to pay attention to the word of a stream enterer. Stream enterer. Okay, so I think I introduced this word in the past, and then let's look at the Sotapanna. And there are 4 stages of enlightenment in early Buddhism, which are progressive. So 4 stages of enlightenment in early Buddhism can be enumerated: Sotapanna, stream enterer, Sukadagamin, once returner, Anagami, no returner, Arahant. So 4 stages of enlightenment. Let's think about that. So many people on the earth, and then everybody has their own lifestyle. And then everybody has a different occupation, different habit, and different tendency. And then some want to study art. Some people want to be a lawyer. Some people want to be a scientist. And if you really desperate to get enlightened, if you are interested in reaching nirvana, and if you are really fully engaged, if you want to fully engage yourself in being liberated, you have to take a certain path. And then that path has stages. There are 4 stages of enlightenment. And once you enter that route, we call that person Sotapanna, stream enterer. These stream enterer just follow the route by making an effort, by practicing, and then the next stage of that route is Sukadagamin, once returner, and continue to make an effort and then reach the stage Anagami. And then final stage is Arahant. Then eventually this person get enlightened, like the Buddha. So what is the difference between these 4 stages? The first stage, stream enterer, Sotapanna, when person enter this route, the person has some fetter. And then there are 10 kinds of fetters. And then the bottom 3 fetters are personality belief, skeptical doubt, attachment to rules and ritual. These 3 kinds of fetters disappear. This man has entered the stream to nirvana. And once the person enter this stream, and enter this stream, this person will rebirth 7 times at the most. And then once this person enter the root, and then these 3 fetters will conquered. Then the next stage is once returner, Sokadagami. And then this person from the Sotapanna stream enter, you get rid of 3 fetters. And then second stage, once returner stage, there's 2 more fetters, such as sensuous craving, ill will. These fetters will disappear. So total 5 fetters will disappear. And once person, practitioner, or this stream enterer reach this once returner stage, then this person will come back, will have 1 more birth. That's why we call this once returner. And once this person come back to this world, then continue to make an effort, then that person will reach anagami, no returner to sensuous realm. And when person reach anagami, this person completely, fully conquer 5 lower fetters. Anagami does not have any of the 5 lower fetters, such as 3, personality belief, skeptical doubt, attachment to ritual, sensuous craving, ill will. These are completely disappear. Even in once returner stage, the 5 fetters, so almost disappear, but not completely. But when stream enterer reach anagami, no returner, then the 5 lower fetters fully disappear. What is lower fetters? That means there's 5 higher fetters. So there are total 10 fetters. And then from the bottom up to 5 lower fetters will be disappear when stream enterer reach anagami. And then once stream enterer reach anagami, that person will not return from the sensuous sphere. This person will appear in a higher world and easy to reach nirvana there. And then anagami may be in somewhere else, not in sensuous realm, and then make an effort and then reach nirvana and eventually arrive at arahant. This arahant free from 5 higher fetters. So there are 10 kinds of fetters. First was personality belief. Second, skeptical doubt. Third, attachment to rules and rituals. The fourth, sensuous craving. Fifth, ill will. The sixth is craving for fine material existence. 7, craving for immaterial existence. And 8, conceit. 9, restlessness. 10, ignorance. All these 10 kinds of fetters will be complete, eradicate when stream enterer reach arahant. So in order to pursue for fully enlightened, anyone should follow this route, this path. And then depending on their mental state, the stages can be divided into 4, such as Sotapanna, Sokadagami, Anagami, and Arahant. So when you read Nikaya, you hear about Sotapanna, Sokadagami, and Anagami, and Arahant. so you can understand what the sutra means, what these words mean. Okay, let's move to the Book of the Tools. And then Sutra Code 33, Buddha preaches like this: peoples, there are two persons that cannot easily paid. What two? Or who are two? One's mother and father. Even if one should carry about one's mother on one shoulder and one's father on the other, and should have a lifespan of 100 years, and if one should attend to them by anointing them with balms, by massaging, bathing, and rubbing their limbs, and they even void their urine and excrement there, one still would not have done enough for one's parents, nor would one have repaid them. Even if one were to establish one's parents as the supreme lords and rulers over this great earth abounding in the 7 treasures, one still would not have done enough for one's parents, nor would not have repaid them. For what reason? Parents are of great help to their children. They bring them up, feed them, and show them the world. And Buddha continued to preach and then expound the case of repaying one's parents. Okay, so this sutra emphasizes there are two persons one can never repay, mother and father. Okay, so Buddha started to expound the family issue. Okay, even one should have 100 years during which one attends upon one's mother and father, keeps all one's attention, love and personal service on them. One cannot never repay them for having brought them, fed and guided one through this life. But this part. Okay, hold on. But this part, the repaying, what is the case of repaying one's parents? But if a person, maybe the person's parents are not believer, okay? And in that case, if a person make his parents who are not believer to become established in the faith and to take refuge in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, this person repay his parents for what they have done for them. Or if one's parents do not observe the precepts, do you remember 5 precepts? And in that case, if son or daughter make his parents who do not observe the precepts to become established in morality, in that case, a person repay his parents for what they have done for parents. And if son or daughter make his miserly parents, stingy parents, to become generous so that they come to share their wealth with the poor and the needy people, or if son or daughter make his ignorant parents to become established in the knowledge of the Four Noble Truths, then such a person repays and more than repays his parents for what they have done for that person. Okay? So it started from emphasize the parents, the gratitude to the parents, but also as a children, as a child, how you can repay parents, whatever parents have done to you, how you can repay them. Then you can not educate, you can introduce precept so that parents can establish good morality. Okay. Also, in case of if parents are stingy, then introduce generosity. Okay, so that the parents can share their wealth with poor people. Like this way, a person can repay his parents based on what they have done for him. So the next, let's move to the book of the three, and Kalama Sutta is a very famous sutta. It's very well-known sutta, Kalama Sutta. And Kalama Sutta is a small town in the kingdom of Kosala. The Buddha encouraged the Kalama, the inhabitant of the town. Okay? And then Kalama, do not go by oral tradition, by lineage of teaching, by hearsay, by a collection of scripture, by logical reasoning, by inferential reasoning, by reasoned cogitation, by the acceptance of a view after pondering it, by the seeming competence of a speaker. And this is one category. Second category, do not go by because the ascetic is our guru. In other words, since ascetic, my guru says so, therefore I will go by. Please don't do that. That is the second category. What is the third category is, but Kalama, you know for yourselves, such as these things are unwholesome, these things are blameworthy, these things are censured by the wise. These things, if accepted and undertaken, lead to harm and suffering, then you should abandon them. But when you know for yourselves, these things are wholesome, these things are blameless, these things are praised by the wise, these things are blameless. I think this is redundant, okay? So then, if accepted and undertaken, lead to welfare and happiness, then you should live in accordance with them. So you cannot just follow because the scripture said so. You just follow them. That's not Buddha suggests you to do. Second category, oh, my master said so, so I believe so. That is not also Buddha suggests you to do. But third category, based on your experience, then you do. So do not be led by report or tradition. Do not be led by authority of a religious text, not by mere logic or inference, not by considering appearances, not by speculative opinion, not by seeming possibilities. Also, not by one's own teacher had said so. But Kalama, when you know for yourselves that certain things are wrong, unwholesome, bad, then give them up. But when you know for yourselves that certain things are right, wholesome, good, then accept them, follow them. So Buddhism is based on your experience. So when you read some sutra, you might not be highly realistic, or you might not agree with what the Buddha preached. But so far you live your life, and when you look back in the past, you had good time and bad time. From all kinds of these experience, you learn some lesson. From that lesson, you have certain degree of wisdom. Based on that, make your life work. Okay, so Buddhism is completely based on your experience. So do not stick to what the tradition said. Do not stick to what your master said so, but based on your experience, you know that from the lesson you've learned in the past, you know that what is good, what is bad. If you do something, the result will be bad. You already know that. Then if that result is bad, unwholesome, give them up. But you know that, oh, I don't like to do this one, but the result, once I do this, the result is good. Then please do that. Okay, so based on your experience, you will evaluate what you have to do. In the book of the fourth and Sutra, living together, and then there's a stanza occur, and then the Buddha says, the husband immoral, miserly, and abusive, but his wife is virtuous, charitable, generous. She's a female diva living with a wretched husband. Then, this time, the husband is virtuous, charitable, generous, but his wife is immoral, miserly, and abusive. She is wretched, living with a diva husband. Okay, I think this is one column, and this should go to, all right, pink color, blue. And this should go to like this, connect this way. So both husband and wife are endowed with the faith, charitable and self-controlled, living their lives righteously, addressing each other with pleasant words. Then many benefits accrue to them, and they dwell at ease. Their enemies are saddened when both are the same in virtue. Having practiced the Dhamma here, the same in virtuous behavior and observances, delighting after death in a diva world, they rejoice, enjoying and sensual pleasures. So the Buddha advised husbands and wives how to live together, and even instruct a loving couple how they can be assured of reuniting in future lives, like this after death. Even they can rejoice and uniting again. According to the number of discourses on family relationships, the Buddha regarded the family as the primary agent of assimilation, and Buddha tried to promote the positive transformation of a society by offering householders guidelines to righteous living. These kinds of approach can be found in Anguttara Nikaya more than any other Nikaya. The next one is the book of the fourth, in code number 192, Pigu. 4 facts can be known from 4 other facts. What 4 is, by dwelling together, their virtuous behavior can be known, and this only after a long time, not casually, by one who is attentive, not by one is inattentive, and by one who is wise, not by one who is unwise. Also, same format, by dwelling, their integrity can be known. So first one was a virtuous behavior. Second is their integrity. A person's integrity can be known, and then this only after a long time, not immediately, by one who is attentive, by one who is wise. Okay. Another same format, and then their fortitude. The fortitude can be known, and this only also after a long time, okay, by one who is attentive and wise. And the conversation of their wisdom can be known, okay, also same way by the wise person only after a long time. So there are 4 ways by which a person's character may be judged. Everybody has a different character. And then when you judge someone's character, and in 4 ways, first, his virtues can be known by a wise and intelligent person who pay close attention after living together with him for a long time. And second character, such as his integrity, can be known by a wise and intelligent person by having dealing with him, paying close attention over a long period of time. Third, his fortitude can be known by a wise and intelligent person by observing him with close attention in times of misfortune. When somebody has a difficulty, how this person has what kind of strength, that can be known by a wise and intelligent person by observing him with close attention in times of misfortune. Also, someone's wisdom can be judged by a wise and intelligent person when conversing with him on a various subject over a long period of time. So there are 4 ways by which a person's character may be evaluated. So when you want to know unknown people, you might apply this 4 kinds of method to figure out a person's character. The book of the 5 defilements. Figures, there are these 5 defilements of gold, defiled by which gold is not malleable, wieldy, and luminous, but brittle and not properly fit for work. What 5? Iron, copper, tin, lead, and silver. These are the 5 defilements of gold, defiled by which gold is not malleable, wieldy, and luminous, but brittle and not properly fit for work. But when gold is freed from these 5 defilements, it is malleable, wieldy, and luminous, pliant, and properly fit for work. Then whatever kind of ornament one wishes to make from it, one can achieve one's purpose. So too, Pigu, there are these 5 defilements of the mind, defiled by which the mind is not malleable, wieldy, and luminous, but brittle and not properly concentrated for the destruction of the taint. What 5? Sensuous desire, ill will, dullness, and drowsiness. It's kinds of laziness or sloth or torpor, and restlessness and remorse and doubt. These are 5 hindrances. You will find this word when you read the Sutra throughout the Nikaya, 5 hindrances. So it's like simile, impurities that defile gold are iron, copper, tin, lead, and silver. Impurities that defile mind are sensuous, desire, ill will, dullness and drowsiness, and restlessness and worry and skeptical doubt. But when the mind is freed from these 5 defilements, it becomes malleable, wieldy, luminous, pliant, and properly concentrated for the destruction of the taint. Then, with this good profound, good basis, one is capable of realizing any state of direct knowledge. So these 5 hindrances is really prevent from achieving jhana. Remember jhana, one of the advanced mental state from meditation, and then jhana is advanced mental state. It's like a trance. Okay? It's quiet and quietude and serene and calm. Those states, reaching that mental state is not easy because of these 5 kinds of hindrance. In another sutta, you can find the books of the 5, Panchaka Nipata, and Ugaha is the layperson's name. And this Ugaha layman and offered the meal to the Buddha, and Ugaha has daughters, and his daughter will go to their husband's family. So Ugaha kind of asked the Buddha to give advice to his daughters. So Buddha said that she does not despise her husband, the man who constantly supports her, who ardently and eagerly always bring her whatever she wants. Nor does a good woman scold her husband with speech caused by jealousy. The wise woman shows veneration to all those whom her husband reveres. She rises early, works diligently, manages the domestic help. She treats her husband in agreeable ways and safeguards the wealth he earns. The woman who fulfills her duties thus, following her husband's will and wishes, is reborn among the devas called the agreeable ones. So Buddha provides advice in terms of a wife's attitude toward her husband. So Anguttara Nikaya notified the significance of quality of people, family issue, happy living, and meaning. Another sutta from Panchaka Nipata, and Buddha also gave a sermon like this: by giving, he becomes there and many resort to him. He attains a good reputation and his fame increases. The generous man is composed and confidently enters the assembly. Therefore, seeking happiness, wise persons give gifts, having removed the stain of miserliness. When they are settled in the triple heaven, for a long time they delight in companionship with the devas. Having taken the opportunity to do wholesome deeds, passing from here, self-numinous, they roam in Nandana. Nandana is the garden of delight in the Tabatinsa heaven. There are several heavens, one of a heaven, okay? And then the garden of that heaven. They roam in Nandana, where they delight, rejoice, and enjoy themselves, furnished with the 5 objects of sensual pleasure. Having fulfilled the world of the unattached stable one, the fortunate one's disciple rejoice in heaven. So from this sutra, Buddha emphasized to give good things to others. So sharing the gift and then providing gift and sharing some materials with others together. And with the breakup of a body after death, a donor is reborn in a good destination in a heavenly world. So how significant the sharing with others in terms of material or maybe some mental happiness. Another sutra, Sangarava, and this sutra is, I told you, just 5 hindrance. 5 hindrance, the sensual lust and ill will. These 5 hindrances are compared with water, the condition of water. How? So I will give maybe 1 or 2 minutes so you can read this paragraph. So, the beautiful simile, sensuous desire, sensual lust, is compared with water mixed with manifold colors. Okay? Ill will is compared with boiling water. So just as in such water, one cannot perceive one's own reflection. So in the presence of these 5 mental hindrances, one cannot clearly discern one's own benefit, not benefit of others, not benefit of both. So this is the 3rd hindrance, 4th, and here's 5th. Have you read through? So the dullness and drowsiness is compared with water covered by algae and water plant, maybe moss. Okay, so algae is a plant live under the sea, under the water, and then so this water cannot be clean, right? So in dirty water, you cannot reflect yourself. You cannot see reflection of yourself, okay? And the restlessness and remorse, restlessness or worry. Sometimes you worry too much unnecessarily, right? The restlessness and worry is compared with agitated water, whipped by the wind, okay? And skeptical doubt is compared with turbid and muddy water. So in such water, one cannot perceive one's own reflection. So in the presence of these 5 mental hindrances, one cannot discern one's own benefit, one cannot discern benefit of others. One cannot discern benefit of one's own as well as others. Okay. The book of the six, then sense faculties, and the Pigu, when there is no restraint of the sense faculties, because of a lack of restraint of the sense faculty, the person lose virtuous behavior. Okay. And so from the beginning, there are 6 steps from 1 through 6 to gain liberation. But sense control provides the basis of morality. This virtuous behavior means morality. If one and one lose the restraint of the sense faculty, then that person cannot have a good morality, because sense control provides the basis for morality. And morality gives the foundation of right concentration. Excuse me. Right concentration. And right concentration provides the basis for understanding of the true nature of physical and mental phenomena. With understanding physical and mental phenomena comes disenchantment and dispassion, non-attachment. Where there is disenchantment and non-attachment, there arise the knowledge and vision of liberation. So why I brought this sutra, when you read many sutras throughout Nikaya, you might hear this about disenchantment, dispassion, cessation, okay? Because every moment we are stick to desire. We do not know that, but unconsciously, so many mental states just linger to craving and cling to desire. So when there is disenchantment and non-attachment, then the knowledge and vision of liberation eventually arise. Okay, so this disenchantment, dispassion, and cessation, you might hear these words, you might read these words when you read several sutras throughout Nikaya. That's why I brought this sutra, and disenchantment, dispassion, and cessation eventually make you arise knowledge and vision of liberation. Excuse me. The book of the seventh, Attaka Nipata. And Buddha teaches like this: Upali, those things which you might know thus. These things do not lead exclusively to disenchantment, to dispassion, to cessation, to peace, to direct knowledge, to enlightenment, to nirvana. You should definitely recognize this is not the Dhamma. This is not the discipline. This is not the teaching of the teacher. But those are things which you might know thus. These things lead exclusively to disenchantment, to dispassion, cessation, peace, direct knowledge, enlightenment, to nirvana. You should definitely recognize this is the Dhamma. This is the discipline. This is the teaching of the teacher. Now Upali, one of Buddha's disciple, he was famous in Vinaya rules of discipline. And these teachings that lead to disenchantment, okay, dispassion and cessation, not attachment, and calm and direct knowledge, enlightenment and nirvana. Such teachings may be taken as the true Dhamma and discipline as the Buddha's teaching. Okay, so you hit disenchantment, dispassion, cessation. So sometimes when you live, just to let it go and let it go might be right way to you behave. In terms of your desire, in relation to your desire. This does not mean, oh, you do not make an effort to just let it go. That's not what I mean. But you sometimes pursue too much, clinging to, attachment. Then just let it go. Disenchantment, dispassion, and cessation, and naturally accept and naturally, make them leave. Okay? That kinds of adaptation and that kinds of mind training will make your life different. This does not mean, oh, you just too much free from any effort. It's quite different. That's not what I meant. But if you hold too much grasping, then maybe sometimes you think about, am I too much, clinging, enchanted, possessed? Okay, then maybe think about, okay, disenchantment, dispassion, not attachment, cessation, and one goes and the other comes. In the book of the eighth is Attaka Nipata and loving kindness, and you heard about this meditation from the earlier of today's lecture. Bhikkhus, when the liberation of the mind by loving kindness has been pursued, developed, and cultivated, made a vehicle and basis, carried out, consolidated, and properly undertaken, 8 benefits are to be expected. What 8? So when you engage in loving kindness meditation, you will have 8 kinds of benefit. What are those? 1 sleeps well. 1 awakens happily. 1 does not have a bad dream. 1 is pleasing to human being. 1 is pleasing to spirit. Deity is protected 1. Fire, poison, and weapons do not injure 1. If 1 does not penetrate further, 1 moves on to the Brahma world. So 1 sleeps well. Someone do not sleep well, so they need to take some medicine, okay, called melatonin. 1 awakens happily. Sometimes do you have a chance to wake with a headache? Or when you wake up happily, then you are in good track on loving kindness meditation. So when you have any of these symptoms, your mind is pervaded with loving kindness. And 1 does not have a bad dream, okay? So there's no headache. 1 is pleasing to human being. People like you. 1 is pleasing to spirit. Spirit means maybe some animals, okay? Some animals really like some kinds of person, the dog or a cow or, passing by animals try to show affection to someone like that. And deities protect 1. And fire, poison, weapons do not injure one. Wow, this is great, but maybe in war field, maybe someone luckily can survive. I don't know whether the bullet knows about, have a, they identify who practice loving kindness meditation. I have no idea, but this is one of the benefits to the person who engage in loving kindness meditation. Fire, poison, and weapons do not injure one. And if one does not penetrate further, if one does not reach Arahant, not fully enlightened, but the practitioner of loving kindness meditation will reborn in Brahma world. So loving kindness meditation is very famous. There are several kinds of meditation technique. One of them is loving kindness. We call that metta. In Pali word, metta. Pali word is metta. Okay. And Kanariya Metta Sutta, loving kindness discourse spoken by the Buddha himself. And then when you study Kutaka Nikaya next week, we will read about Metta Sutta. But today I briefly introduced the background of this Metta Sutta because Anguttara Nikaya also introduced loving kindness meditation several times. So the background of Metta Sutta is there's some deity live on the tree. We call that tree deity. Tree deity on the slope of the Himalaya worry about descending from tree abode. So they live in tree, but with some reason they might lose their residential place. Therefore, tree deities harassed the bhikkhus with noise and stench. The Buddha uttered the hymn of universal love. The hymn of universal love, that is the content of Metta Sutta, advising bhikkhus to return equipped with the Metta Sutta for their protection. Deities so affected by this power of love, so transform into human form and helping them free from 5 hindrances and attaining high spiritual perfection. What does that mean? The Metta Sutta was spoken by the Buddha himself, okay? And this scripture exemplifies the Buddhist meditation. When the bhikkhus had been harassed by deities on the slope of the Himalaya with noise and stench, the Buddha uttered the hymns of universal love as a meditation subject for the purpose of providing a safeguard for the bhikkhus. In Kutaka Nikaya, the tree deities inhabiting Himalaya forest, and these tree deities were worried about losing their residential place. So the deities caused problem, harassed the bhikkhu in diverse way by generating noise and stench. Okay, so this is during the 6th BCE, when the Buddha was alive. 500 bhikkhus held a meditation retreat in the Himalaya slope. And then that Himalaya slope, the retreat place was the tree deities abode. They stay on tree. Upon arrival of 500 bhikkhus, the tree deities worried about losing their tree abodes. So the deities harassed the bhikkhus in diverse way by generating noises and stench. So bhikkhus really cannot concentrate this kind of noise, howling, and stench, some bad odor, stinky odor. So 500 bhikkhus discuss about switching the retreat place. Let's get out of this place. We can move somewhere else to practice meditation. But senior bhikkhus disagree because the retreat place cannot be changed once it was selected according to the Vinaya rule. So they follow the Vinaya rule. One of the Vinaya rule is once they select retreat place, they cannot change until the end of retreat period. So as they cannot find any solution, okay, the 500 young bhikkhus want to move to other place, but the senior monk said, no, we cannot do that. We have to follow the Vinaya rule. So they cannot find any resolution. Therefore, bhikkhus decide to appeal this difficulty to the Buddha. So senior bhikkhus visit the Buddha. Once Buddha listened to this situation, the Buddha instruct them Metta Sutta, loving kindness meditation, and advise bhikkhus to return equipped with this Metta Sutta for their protection. So Metta Sutta is translated into loving kindness meditation or hymn of universal love. So main content is, we will study this in detail next week when you study Khuddaka Nikaya, but briefly if I introduce today, is the content is, may I be well, happy, peaceful, and prosperous. Okay? So you have to start from yourself first, okay? And then yourself or myself, actually myself, visualize with a happy mind and conceptualize that may I be free from hostility, free from affliction, free from distress, may I live happily. Your mind is full of this thought. May I be free from hostility, free from affliction, free from distress, may I live happily. Once you reach mindfulness of this, may I be well, happy, peaceful, and prosperous, then you switch meditative subject from myself to revered person, some respect person. Then think that, oh, may my parents, if you respect your parents, may my parents be well, happy, peaceful, and prosperous. And then once your mind is full with that thought, then move to neutral person, then hostile person. By following this path, the mind is inspired with the same degree of loving kindness equally to everyone. Okay, so you start from yourself and then move to respectful person, the meditative object, move to neutral person, and then hostile person, and eventually all living beings. Okay? So even extending metta from human to all sentient beings. Okay? The bhikkhus practice metta meditation, permeating the whole atmosphere with their thought of loving kindness. And then once listen, loving kindness meditation, the hymn of universal love, the deities also can listen to that. So extending metta, loving kindness from human to all sentient beings, the mind of the deities became so fulfilled with a warm feeling of goodwill. In other words, the deity is so affected by this power of love. So they transform into human form and welcome 500 bhikkhus with great respect. Help 500 bhikkhus free from 5 hindrances to attain high spiritual perfection. Okay? his deities transform in personalized and then even help 500 bhikkhus to attain spiritual perfection. Moreover, deities help 500 bhikkhus free from hindrance to attain high spiritual perfection by way of metta practice. So, that is the story of loving kindness meditation. We will study one more time when we study Attaka Nikaya. And next, the books of the ninth, Navaka Nipata, and one of Sutava, the Buddha expounds a bhikkhu who is an arahant, one whose taints are destroyed, one completely liberated through final knowledge, is incapable of transgression in 9 cases. So these 9 cases, including 5 precepts. In addition to 5 precepts, the arahant equipped 4 more conditions. Okay? So first, he is incapable of intentionally depriving a living being of life. Okay? And he will not take by way of theft what is not given. The arahant is not engaged in sexual intercourse. Arahant never ever speak falsehood. Falsehood. Okay, so that means never tell lie. And arahant never store things up in order to enjoy sensual pleasure. Okay. Maybe he has done that when he was a layman, but once he became arahant, it will not go back. It never go back. Okay. And that is 5 precepts. In addition to 5 precepts, 4 more things. He will not reject the Buddha. He will not reject the Dhamma. He will not reject the Sangha. And the arahant will not reject the training. Training means meditation practice. So 9 practices not indulged in by arahant. In other words, an arahant does not intentionally take the life of a being, and then all these things, even including 4 more additional behavior. Okay. In the book of the 10th, Dasaka Nipata, one's own mind. So too, self-examination is very helpful for bhikkhu to grow in wholesome qualities. One should ask oneself. This sutra suggests check yourself. Examine yourself. Okay? So check what you need to check is, am I often given to longing or without longing? Am I often given to ill will or without ill will? Am I overcome by dullness and drowsiness? Or free from dullness and drowsiness? In other words, am I occupied with dullness and drowsiness, or am I free from dullness and drowsiness? Just checking your mind, examine your mind. Am I often restless or calm? Am I often plagued by doubt or free from doubt? Am I often angry or without anger? So when you're really angry, do you identify yourself being angry? Or you just, by default, you just keep angry? So this sutra is simple, but it's not easy. Checking your mind, examining your mental state. Okay? So if you can realize, oh, I'm angry, your mental status is pretty clear, right? But most people unconsciously it goes so fast, and then whether you can check your mind is angry or not, you are doing something else. You are behave with this angry mind. So you do not see your mind. You have no effort to see your mind. Is my mind often defiled or undefiled? Is my body often agitated or unagitated? Am I lazy or energetic? Am I often unconcentrated or concentrated? So just as a young man or a woman look into the mirror to find out if there are any blemish on the face, so also it is necessary for people to engage in occasional self-examination to see whether desire, ill will, sloth and torpor have arisen in him or not. Whether the bigger worry and excitement and whether bigger doubts, that kind of hindrance exists in him or not, the bigger need to check themselves. Okay, so this sutra really more target to the bhikkhu. Okay, but as a lay people, some part you can apply in your life. So, am I lazy? Am I energetic? Am I hating someone with ill will? Or, no, just maybe neutral to that person without ill will. Okay, so self-examination is not easy, but it's very helpful, and then it's a good way to purify defiled mind. The last book, the book of the 11th, and then loving kindness comes back. Bhikkhus, when the liberation of the mind by loving kindness has been pursued, developed, and cultivated, 11 benefits are to be expected. What 11? We just read Loving Kindness Sutra. At the time, there's 8 benefits introduced, but this time it's increased. The benefit is increased from 8 to 11. So some of them overlap. One sleeps well, awakens happily. These all overlap with 8 benefits. But if you look at this part, one's mind quickly becomes concentrated, and one's facial complexion is serene. One dies unconfused. So the dying moment is painful. Everybody fearful on the last moment, but someone has the last moment peacefully. Okay, one dies unconfused. One's facial complexion is serene, and then one's mind quickly become concentrated. Okay, so this one, the last one, is the same of 1 over 8 benefits. So all these 3 benefits are add more by way of practicing loving kindness. Okay, so we read over several sutras from Anguttara Nikaya, and I'm going to close the lecture now, and then I'm going to give some homework assignment. So, which Nikaya does offer the guidance to the family, such as the duties of children toward their parents, or advice to husband and wives in terms of how to live together? Okay, so I introduce the importance 2 things. What are 2 is mother and father, right? And then also advise the relationship between husband and wives. We also read that sutra. So you can easily find this kind of sutra is hard to find except one kind of Nikaya. So that will be the answer of this question. Which of following is the condition to categorize Anguttara Nikaya? You can answer that. Oh, I'm sorry. How many sutras are there? Here is Anguttara Nikaya. Okay, sorry. So when you write down the question on your turning paper, please write down this as Anguttara Nikaya. It's typo. How many sutras are there in Anguttara Nikaya? And then you find the answer at the beginning of this slide. Which of the following is not the benefit resulted from loving kindness meditation? There are the book of the 8 also introduce loving kindness meditation. Also the book of 11 also explain the benefits followed by loving kindness meditation. And then you read them and then you will find what is the answer. And the last question is, please write down the short paragraph describing the significance of meditation in Buddhism. I like to read your thought. So you can include, you might introduce several kinds of Buddhist meditation. As far as you know, there are several kinds of Buddhist meditation. Loving kindness meditation is one of them. Okay? But you already hear about a couple of Buddhist meditation from Digha Nikaya and Majjhima Nikaya. And state your favorite meditation method. And as I said, there are several kinds of Buddhist meditation, so you must have one, your favorite meditation method. And then if you like one, that meditation method, what is the reason why you like it the most? Okay? So if you do not like any Buddhist meditation, then well, since you study in Buddhism, probably you must know about Buddhist meditation, and I like to hear about your ideas, how you think about Buddhist meditation. Okay? And do you think there were meditation practice in other religions, even in Christianity? Okay? If so, how they differ from Buddhist meditation? And you can include any opinion regarding the Buddhist meditation. If you can answer to these questions, that will be great. But if you do not know the answer, then just describe your idea about why meditation is so important in Buddhism. When you read Digha Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, Samyutta, and Anguttara Nikaya, why the Buddha always emphasized meditation practice? Okay? Why? Because it's important. Why? And then, as again, if you do not know the answer, just write down your idea, your thought about the Buddhist meditation. That's okay. There's no any grading about that, but if you do not submit, you will check as absence of the class, and also submitting assignment, I will provide a certain point. Okay? So, but if you do not turn in assignment, you will not get any point. Okay, so assignment to solve the 5 questions written in the lecture slide. And first, write down your name. It's the same format, but this time could you include the week number? So this week is week 4, so that I can easily organize a student's assignment, because that is related to your attendance. So, and then send to me, and then the due date is May 18. May 18. Okay. So you will solve this question throughout. You will listen this lecture on 11th of May, and then you will complete assignment between 11th until 17th of May, and then submit May 18. I really wanna receive, I would like to receive your assignment after 18th of May, not before 18th of May. Okay, as possible. Okay, this is the format, so please include the week number and then write down the number and then answer like that. Okay, this is all for today. And then next week, on the syllabus, I did not include Kudaka Nikaya, but it's worthwhile to go over Kudaka Nikaya. So next week, maybe we will study Kudaka Nikaya and Abhidhamma Pitaka together, or maybe only Kudaka Nikaya. Okay, so see you next week. Thank you. Bye.